All right, kiddos, this is the last thing I'm going to have you do before I set you loose on some problems from the textbook. All right, so today I drove into Lincoln to get some supplies for teaching from home. I live in Forest Grove, and so it's a little bit of a haul to get to Lincoln, and I want to tell you some real measurements that I made as I drove from Forest Grove into Lincoln for you to use your new vocabulary. Okay, so to drive into LHS, I leave my home in Forest Grove. I travel 35 miles per hour for 9 miles until I reach Highway 26 on the back roads. On Highway 26, I travel for 11 miles, going 65 miles an hour. I know, don't judge. Okay, and then right at St. Vincent Hospital, where kind of 217 dumps onto Highway 26, traffic slows way down to about 30 miles an hour, and I travel another 6 miles to Lincoln. As the crow flies, Lincoln is 21 miles away from my home. Are you guys familiar with the term "as the crow flies"? It means that's the distance, a straight line path between Lincoln and my house. All right, so here are my questions. How far do I travel in my car? What is the distance I travel in my car? How long does it take me to get to Lincoln? So I'm asking for time. What is my average speed? And what is my average velocity? Okay, so distances are easy. Time, not as much, right? Just remember that velocity is the change, or speed is the change in distance over time. Oftentimes we write this as V equals D over T, and you can solve that for T. Right, and you're going to have to find how long it takes me during each segment of my drive and then add those up. Okay? All right, so I'm going to zoom out here so you can see the whole thing. All right, I'm going to pause, and I would like you to try these problems independently and unpause the video when you're ready to check your answers. All right? 3, 2, 1, pause. All right, let's see how we did, okay? So let's take a look at number 1 here. How far do I travel in my car? Well, I take the distances I travel in each segment and add them together. So that's 21 miles, and that is a distance, right? I said Lincoln is 21 miles from my home as the crow flies. This 21 miles is displacement. Okay, question number 2. How long does it take me to get to Lincoln? Assuming I'm traveling at a constant speed in each increment, I can use my velocity, or my speed equals distance over time, rearrange that for time. Then I put in my distance and my speed in each of those segments to figure out how long it takes for each. Okay, so we'll go up here. Time for the first segment, time is 9 miles divided by 35 miles per hour. And I get the time in hours. I converted it to minutes just because that's how my brain makes sense of things. So it is about 15 minutes for me to get from my house to Highway 26. Okay, then once I'm on the highway, I travel for 11 miles going 65 miles an hour. So I get that time in hours, right? It's about 10 minutes until I get to the St. Vincent or the 217 interchange. And then finally, once I get there, I travel for 6 miles going 30 miles an hour, 0.2 hours, which is about 12 minutes. So it takes me on average 37.6 minutes to get from my house to Lincoln. And that's about true. The fastest I've ever gotten to Lincoln is 33 minutes from my house. Typically, it takes about 45 minutes. All right. And but I also have the time in hours because the next thing I'm going to want to do is go down here and answer number 3. I want my average speed. And if we're talking about driving in a car, it makes the most sense to give that average speed in miles per hour, right? Because that's the speed that we use in our cars. So my average speed, I use my distance and divide it by that time in hours, and I get 41.5 miles per hour on average. Okay, my average velocity, though, I'm going to use my displacement, that 21 miles as the crow flies, and then divided by my time in hours, and I get 33.5 miles per hour. It's a vector, so I need a direction, and I'll just say towards Lincoln. Because, in the metro region, let's say here's Portland, and this is north, right? Forest Grove is almost to the Coast Range. It's a little bit south, right? And a little bit west of Portland. And so if we were to draw that displacement, it would look a little bit north. I would travel a little bit north and a little bit east. We can't just say northeast because that's typically a 45-degree angle between north and east. You could figure out that angle if you wanted to, but for simplicity's sake here, we'll give the direction as towards Lincoln. All right. So that's how we use our vocabulary words. Let's take a look at your homework. I want you to give this a gander before our next live class on Thursday. In Cutnell and Johnson, your textbook, read sections 2.1 through 2.3 and 2.7. So that's in Chapter 2, and that's how they annotate the sections. Chapter 2, Section 1 through Chapter 2, Section 3, and then Chapter 2, Section 7. In the back of the chapter, there are a couple different types of things that you can answer. There are focus on concepts questions, and there are problems. Okay, so take a look at the ones listed. If you are using a digital textbook, go into the resources module in Canvas, and there's a video showing you how to access the problems. It's not intuitive, so please make sure you do that if you're using the digital textbook. All right, next class we'll do a quick little check for understanding quiz, 10 points on Go Formative. It's very similar to problem number 70, where you need to turn words into a position versus time graph, and then turn that position versus time graph into a velocity versus time graph. All right, kiddos, let me know if you have any questions. I'm always around in the class meet from 12:35 to 3:15 every afternoon. Come stop on by. See you later.